Hello, children. How are you all? I hope you all are hale and hearty. My name is Renu Harsh, and I am your teacher of English. We are connected here again today through this e learning platform of STVA. And this is the second video for the chapter Lost Spring Stories of Stolen Childhood, written by Anis Chan. You have to do a number of activities, children. Help your parents relax, meditate, exercise, and above all, study. So, all these things have to be managed properly, and for this, you should have a definite plan. There is a very common saying in English, children, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So, plan accordingly so that you can make the best use of this period. Is Lost Spring Stories of Stolen Childhood, written by Anis Chan. Here she has described or she talks about the lives of two underprivileged children. There are two characters, Sahib and Mukesh. Mukesh is a rag pick Sahib is a rag picker, and Mukesh is a bangle maker. And in the chapter, the writer analyzes the grinding poverty and traditions which condemn these children to a life of exploitation. The first part is titled, Sometimes I Find a Rupee in the Garbage. And the second part, I Want to Drive a Car. In the first part, the writer discusses about or portrays, talks about, she comes or she meets a boy named Sahib who is a rag picker. He wishes to go to school. He also likes to play tennis, but he cannot do both these things as he has to fulfill the dreams of his parents first, and that dreams are the basic necessities actually: food, shelter, and clothing. They cannot dream of something more than that. He has to assist them to earn a living. Such is the pitiable condition of Sahib. In the second unit, which is titled, I Want to Drive a Car, the writer honestly describes or honestly writes about Mukesh, who is a bangle maker. He belongs to a family who is making bangles from generation to generation. They have done this. But Mukesh thinks differently. I have to say, he dares to dream. He wants to become a motor mechanic. In the first video, children, we have read about the life of Mukesh. Although we have not completed the unit, and I have explained that unit line wise with a detailed explanation and meanings of the difficult words. I've introduced you with some literary devices also. Now, for a better understanding in this video, a thorough explanation will be there with some notes. Read them carefully and also listen carefully. The writer met a boy named Mukesh who aspired to become a motor mechanic. He was confident, but his dream was far away from reality. And although the boy was confident, he would succumb to the societal pressures. He lived in Firozabad, which was famous for glass bangles. The writer, Anis Jung, felt that the boy's dreams would not materialize and gradually get influenced by the dusty streets of Firozabad. She wanted to say that as every family in the town of Firozabad was involved in the glass bangle industry, so would Mukesh do with the passage of time. She tells us that Firozabad was the main town of India for the glass blowing industry. The families had been involved in working at furnaces, welding glass, and making bangles for generations. They made so many bangles that it seemed that they made bangles for all the women of the world. Mukesh's family was also involved in the profession of glass bangle making. They were not aware of the law. They did not know that it was unlawful to force children to work in such glass furnaces. The workplaces were hot, dark, closed rooms without ventilation. The writer felt that if the law would come into force, it would rescue almost 20,000 children from these inhuman places where they were forced to work hard during the daytime. They often ended up losing their eyesight also. Mukesh was happy as he took the writer to his home. He felt proud as he informed her that it was being renovated. They walked down streets which were full of garbage and gave foul smell. The streets were lined up with slums which were unsteady. The walls were falling apart, the doors were unsteady, there were no windows, and were full of families where people lived along with animals. The writer was reminded of the prehistoric man who lived just like animals. Mukesh stopped in front of one such door, hit it hard with his foot, and pushed it open. The house where Mukesh lived was a partially constructed hut. In one corner was a firewood stove made with dead grass. A vessel with spinach leaves was kept on it. On the ground, there were more plates with chopped vegetables in them. There was a thin young woman cooking the evening meal for the family. Her eyes were full of the smoke emanating from the stove, but she was still cheerful and smiled to see the writer. She was the wife of Mukesh's elder brother. Although she was not much older than Mukesh, she was a responsible person and was worthy to get respect from the family as the daughter-in-law of the family. She took care of three men, her husband, Mukesh, and their father. As Mukesh's father entered the house, the daughter-in-law hid behind the wall and covered her face behind her veil. It was a tradition for the daughter-in-laws to hide their face in the presence of the older male members of the family. The elder here was a poor bangle maker. He had worked all his life, first as a tailor, then as a bangle maker. He was still not able to either renovate the house or send his sons to school. He had just managed to teach him the skill of making bangles. Mukesh's grandmother justified her son by saying that he was destined to make bangles as it had been their family profession. She had seen her husband become blind due to the dust from polishing the glass bangles. She said that their family had got this art of bangle making from God, and so they had to carry on the tradition. They were born in a particular caste which had to follow the profession of bangle making. All their life they had just seen these glass bangles. They were everywhere, in the backyard, in the next house, in their yard, and even in the streets of the town. There were huge, spiral bunches of bangles in different colors like gold, green, blue, pink, purple. There were bangles of all the colors of the rainbow. Further, the writer says that there were bangles in the neglected yards also. They were dumped on handcarts for sale. They were pushed by men along the streets of Firozabad. Further, the writer describes the environment where these bangle makers work. They were small, dark huts. The children would sit next to a line of oil lamps whose flames were unsteady. They, along with their parents, joined the pieces of colored glass into circles called bangles. As they spent a lot of time in the dark, their eyes would not adapt to the bright sunlight. Many of them lost their eyesight before gaining adulthood. The writer talks about the plight of street children like Mukesh of Firozabad. The children of such families are forced to labor early in life and denied the opportunities of going to school. The children are trapped in the vicious circle of social stigma known as poverty and exploitation. There are colorful bangles everywhere. The unhappiness and tedium in the lives of the bangle makers contrasts the joy and merriment that their bangles will bring to the women who will buy and wear them. Child labor has been a major problem not only in India but also in other developing countries. It is a great social problem. We often find children working in dhabas, factories, tea stalls, fields, and homes. They often become rag pickers and performers. All this deprives children of a normal, carefree childhood. Schooling becomes a distant dream, and a perpetual state of poverty becomes a reality. Dreams become a mirage. Child labor is often born out of the need for survival. Often the reason is to increase the income of a poor family. Industries often employ children in the hope of reducing the labor cost in their organization. Children, we have covered some part of the second unit. I want to drive a car. The remaining part will be covered in the next video. So we'll sum up that the writer tries to convey in a developed society where every citizen counts and all citizens have to have proper education, healthcare support, games and entertainment, a child with less or absolutely no education finds it hard to survive. Thank you.